If you're wanting to get a reading with me, now is the best time to make sure you're on my mailing list. I'll be reopening my books at the end of March, and the best way to know about it is through my mailing list. I'll announce it on here as well, but my books do fill up fast. Spots go super quick, so if you're wanting a primo time slot, being on my mailing list is the way to go. The first round of bookings has been so fun. Thank you to everyone who I got to meet with from January through March. Whether you're a returning client or a totally new face, it makes my day getting to connect and parse out what fate has in store. To all the people I still have yet to meet in March, I am very much looking forward to it. I'm also looking forward to this week, so let's get into this week's forecast and find out why that might be. The great thing about this week is that Mercury stations direct. Holly Berry, hallelujah. Last Tuesday, March 10th, we had Jupiter finally stationed direct after 4 months of retrograde motion. And while Mercury's retrograde isn't nearly as long, I'm glad we're on the final week of its journey. I didn't eat my words. I said a couple weeks ago that I'm kind of excited for this and we'll see if I eat my words. And you know what? It didn't turn out that bad. It was actually a pretty good time of reassessing and getting my shit together, so I hope you can say the same. Mercury doesn't station direct until Friday, so let's talk about what we're going to run into up until that point. Before Mercury does us all a favor and stations direct, it meets up with Mars. There's a conjunction between Mercury and Mars that's been building since the end of last week, and it finally comes to a head on Sunday, March 15th. This is going to cause the need for mental assertiveness, but also careful planning. If Mercury wasn't in detriment or retrograde, I would say that we would be feeling light on our feet and quick in our minds. But Mercury is in detriment, and it still is retrograde, which means we need to be really careful around taking hasty action. If there was ever a time to catch a case of foot and mouth disease, it's the early part of this week. Luckily, this aspect begins to fade pretty quickly. Sunday's going to be a highly impulsive day. So just know that you might feel this untethered sort of feeling. If you're listening in real time, this is right now. This is happening as I speak. Like you might want to do something or say something, but you don't really know why. You just feel this urge. It would be my advice to sit with this. It's not that you shouldn't follow this urge. Just try to be smart with it. Look at the realm of Pisces and see what's going on there and the progress you've made within it throughout the retrograde. Mars is a planet that severs and slices. The start of this week might be a time when we're letting go of outdated ways or outdated thinking or feeling within the realm of Pisces. The action we might take might be more symbolic right now than literal, but it's good to be aware of your mental haste with this conjunction because it's going to cause some of that. It's really going to bring that, and I promise by the end of the week, we will be able to take action within this area of life. It's just the beginning of the week. Maybe make it a more symbolic action. Letting go or shifting something within the realm of Pisces might be really valuable. So definitely don't sleep on this aspect and the energy it brings up for you. Not only are we reworking Pisces due to Mercury's retrograde, but the ruler of the retrograde, Jupiter, it just stationed direct last week. So this is adding a little clarity and a little wisdom to the realm of Pisces and making it easier to edit, revise, or change this area of our lives. Add in this conjunction with Mars, and we're ready to drop something that no longer aids in our growth or the overall agenda. So again, it might be a loss or something that we're symbolically removing. It might not be literal just yet. To add even more fuel to the Piscean fire, the new moon in the middle of the week will be in Pisces. So again, the ruler of Mercury's retrograde is now direct and exalted. Mercury is going to be conjunct Mars and ready to make a move. And then the moon is going to present an opportunity to start again within the realm of Pisces. This new moon is 2 days before Mercury stations direct. It's like handing us a fresh start on a silver Piscean platter. We should be using our accumulated wisdom from Jupiter and Cancer to help inform what needs reset, cleared out, or changed within the realm of Pisces. And then we get to plant these new seeds of intention during the new moon. And then by the end of the week, Mercury stations direct, and we're all forging ahead with our freshly made intentions. All in all, it's a great way to end Mercury's retrograde at the end of the week. When Mercury stations direct on Friday, all planets will be engaging in direct motion, even Chiron. Everyone is moving ahead, and we don't have another retrograde pop up until about June when Mercury stations retrograde again. It's a Mercury-packed week for sure, which means the realm of Pisces is needing our attention. The day Jupiter stationed direct last week, I felt this shift in my routines in my work life. Pisces is my 6th house, so routines and wellness are really big for me right now. Last week was the first time I've run outside in ages. I've been on the treadmill for what seems like forever now, and I finally got to go outside, and I felt the urge there. It seems small, but it was really big for me. I was like, wow, I'm running outside again. How beautiful is this? And I was also optimizing my time in new ways and really felt a lot more motivated than I had in a long time. As this week continues, I'm definitely going to be honing in on the new moon and Mars's energy with Mercury. I'll be thinking about what I need to cut away or change in order to reach my goals. And I highly recommend you do this for yourself as well. It's an easy way to make the most of Mercury's retrograde and the new moon at the same time. Or don't. You don't have to listen to me. Free will is cool like that. While Pisces is getting its last hurrah this week through the new moon and Mercury's final week of retrograde motion, there are other important events taking place. The same day that Mercury stations direct, the sun also ingresses into Aries, which means it'll officially be Aries season. I said this when Venus ingressed into Aries, but I am glad to finally be drying out a little bit. No shade to my Pisces people or Pisces energy, but I'm all fire and I feel like I'm drowning over here, so I am glad to have a little bit of fire going on. The sun's ingression into Aries will shift our conscious focus from mutable water to cardinal fire. The sun is exalted in Aries, which means we're all going to get a little boosty boost from that. It's not quite the same as Leo, but the sun really does derive joy from being in Aries. Aries is a very capable and driven place for the sun to be, which means we're going to be feeling more capable and confident within the realm that Aries rules for us. Now, I say this, but we have to remember that every planet that ingresses into Aries right now is immediately met by Neptune. Neptune is sitting at 1 degree of Aries, so when the sun ingresses, there's going to be a little bit of a haze over the competence and the capabilities that I mentioned. We might bite off more than we can chew or overestimate our ability to take on something. This will be short-lived, luckily, so try not to let the bravado and sheer willpower force you into something that you don't need to get into right now. Aries season begins on Friday, so just know that going into the weekend, you might not be seeing your ambitions or capabilities all that clearly. By next week, the sun will have plenty of distance between itself and Neptune, so just ease into this Aries energy a little bit and you'll be fine. And if you don't ease in, then be prepared to be enlightened to the reality of your situation after the weekend is over. Another planet putting distance between itself and Neptune is Saturn. For the last few weeks, you guys have heard me say that Saturn's agenda is confusing and we don't have all the details because there's been this conjunction with Neptune. And this week is the start of that confusion dying down. We're starting to get a more accurate picture of Saturn's agenda in this area of our lives, which is really nice. So the distance between Saturn and Neptune is finally being created. We're getting some clarity. And while Saturn is busy keeping Neptune at an arm's length, it's going to also be making a sextile with a different generational planet, Pluto. There's going to be a sextile between Saturn and Pluto that's in play all week long. Since we're just beginning to see the agenda of Saturn with more clarity, this sextile is going to act like a little bit of a spark that ignites Saturn's desire for control and power and hard work. We should look at the realm of Aquarius to get an idea of the fuel that Pluto is feeding Saturn's fire. Since this is a complementary harmonic aspect, we can expect Saturn's agenda to take hold more. Yes, Saturn is a malefic. I don't know if I consider Pluto a malefic, really. I know I consider Neptune a malefic. I don't really consider Pluto all that malefic. I don't know. I don't deal with the generationals all that much. But Saturn is a malefic. And while this sextile is harmonic, there is going to be tension around what it brings to our lives. We're starting to get a little more serious within the realm of Aries. We're starting to see the severity of things. And the realm of Aquarius is a place where maybe we can derive power from so we can prepare to sink deeper into the lessons of Saturn over time. One last aspect that I want to mention this week is the trine between Mars and Jupiter on Saturday. Remember at the beginning of the podcast, I was saying like, don't take hasty action in Pisces. There's going to be plenty of time for that later. Well, here we are. Here is the later. With Jupiter stationed direct, Mars's energy from Pisces is going to be like a burst of inspiration. And this is also happening after Mercury stationed direct and after that new moon. So we're ready to roll. We're going to be hit with a wave of expansion and wisdom this weekend. And now that Jupiter is direct, we have the means and knowledge to implement this inspiration from Pisces in a bigger way. While I said not to be hasty within the realm of Aries over the weekend and not to be hasty within the realm of Pisces in the beginning of the week, the realms of Cancer and Pisces at the end of the week are all systems go, full steam ahead. I know I've been warning a lot over the last few months about taking careful action and not being hasty, not taking on too much, taking our time. But that's because we've had a lot of retrogrades. We've had a lot of weird planetary transitions and ingressions. But now, with both Mercury and Jupiter stationed direct, all the other planets are direct, everything's kind of settled at this point. We're ready to do a little something. Mars's energy is a welcomed kick in the ass to jumpstart Jupiter's exalted energy within the realm of Cancer. So if you are feeling restless this weekend, keep that energy out and away from Aries and direct it towards Cancer and Pisces. Overall, we're set to have a pretty busy week. There's a good bit of shifting energy in the beginning and middle that we need to navigate, so don't be surprised if the people around you, if the world around you, the energy around you just takes a minute to catch up, a minute to adjust. The new moon midweek is going to be like the calm before the storm, before that Mars and Jupiter aspect really lights up and gets us going. So use the new moon to gather your thoughts, your feelings, and ideas before you go rushing off again. Thank you for tuning into this week's forecast. If you want a more detailed look at what this week's astro weather holds for you personally, go to my website, moonmattersastrology.com, and sign up to receive my zine. You can also find me on Patreon by searching for Moon Matters. The best way to keep up to date with my work or to book a reading with me is to sign up for my mailing list on my website. I'll meet you back here next week, but until next time, later days.